Welcome to Just Listen Books channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is a philosophical book that tells the story of Santiago, an Andalusian shepherd boy who dreams of discovering a worldly treasure located somewhere in Egypt. Here is a detailed summary of the book by chapters. Part 1. Chapter 1. The Boy's Dream. In the opening chapter of The Alchemist, titled The Boy's Dream, we are introduced to Santiago, a shepherd boy from the rolling hills of Andalusia in southern Spain. Santiago has a recurring dream that deeply intrigues him, yet also instills a sense of apprehension. In the dream, he is at the base of the Egyptian pyramids, and a child tells him that there is a treasure waiting for him there. This dream is vivid and consistent, prompting Santiago to seek its meaning beyond mere curiosity. Compelled by the mystery of his dream, Santiago decides to consult a fortune teller in the nearby town. The fortune teller, a somewhat mysterious and ambiguous figure, listens to Santiago's recounting of the dream and confirms that it is indeed prophetic. She tells him that he must go to the pyramids in Egypt, where he will find a treasure that will make him rich. However, she demands 1/10 of his treasure as payment for her services once he finds it. Despite this prophetic interpretation, Santiago is hesitant. His life as a shepherd is simple but filled with freedom and contentment. He enjoys wandering through the countryside, and his needs are few. The thought of embarking on a daunting journey to an unknown land in search of an uncertain treasure fills him with doubt. He questions the practicality of pursuing such an uncertain and perilous path based solely on a recurring dream and the ambiguous advice of a fortune teller. This chapter sets the stage for Santiago's internal conflict between contentment with his current life and the human yearning for the unknown and possibly greater fulfillment. It introduces the theme of following one's dreams and the signals the universe provides, which are central to the narrative and philosophical underpinnings of The Alchemist. Santiago's journey towards the realization of his personal legend begins with his struggle to reconcile his fears and doubts with the allure of his dream. Chapter 2. Melchizedek. In the chapter titled Melchizedek, Santiago encounters a pivotal character who significantly influences his journey. After Santiago decides to spend the day in a town square reading, an old man strikes up a conversation with him. This man is Melchizedek, the king of Salem, though he appears initially as just an elderly gentleman with intriguing knowledge about Santiago's life. Melchizedek introduces the concept of a personal legend to Santiago, which is a person's destiny or purpose in life. He explains that everyone knows their personal legend when they are young, but over time, many forget it or dismiss it due to various distractions or societal pressures. He emphasizes the importance of pursuing one's personal legend, as it is the key to true happiness and fulfillment. Recognizing Santiago's reluctance and uncertainty about pursuing his dream to find the treasure in Egypt, Melchizedek encourages him by sharing wisdom about the universal language that connects all beings. This universal language is closely tied to pursuing one's personal legend and being in harmony with the world. To aid Santiago in his quest, Melchizedek gives him 2 magical stones, Urim and Thummim. These stones are to serve as omens, with one stone signifying yes and the other no. They are meant to help Santiago make decisions when he is unsure of the path to take. The gift of these stones is Melchizedek's way of showing Santiago that tangible help will be provided along his journey, emphasizing that the universe conspires to help those who are pursuing their personal legend. In exchange for this knowledge and the magical stones, Melchizedek asks for 1/10 of Santiago's flock of sheep. This exchange symbolizes Santiago's need to commit something of value to pursue his dream, illustrating the sacrifice often required to follow one's destiny. The encounter with Melchizedek marks a turning point in Santiago's life, solidifying his resolve to pursue his dream. This chapter not only sets Santiago on his path, but also frames the mystical and philosophical undertones of the narrative, making clear that the journey will be both external across the physical world and internal within Santiago himself. Part 2. Chapter 3. Tangier. In the chapter titled Tangier, Santiago's journey toward his personal legend takes a challenging turn. Upon his arrival in Tangier, a city in northern Africa, Santiago experiences the harsh realities of being a stranger in a foreign land. Almost immediately, he falls victim to a young con artist who befriends him under the pretense of helping him exchange money. Trusting and inexperienced, Santiago hands over his money, only to have the young man disappear with it, leaving him penniless and alone in an unfamiliar place. Faced with adversity, Santiago is forced to reassess his situation. His dream of reaching the pyramids seems even more distant now, and he contemplates abandoning his quest to return to his life as a shepherd. However, Santiago's resolve is tested, and he decides to persevere and continue pursuing his personal legend, demonstrating his growing commitment to his journey. In order to survive and save money for his onward journey, Santiago takes up work at a small crystal shop. The shop is owned by a conservative merchant who, though kind, has resigned himself to a mundane existence, lacking any ambition to improve his business or pursue further dreams. The crystal merchant becomes an important figure in Santiago's journey, symbolizing what could happen if one gives up on their dreams. Santiago proposes innovative ideas to improve the crystal shop's business, such as selling tea in crystal glasses, which attracts more customers. His ideas are initially met with resistance, but eventually prove to be successful, leading to increased sales and new energy in the once stagnant shop. Through this work, Santiago not only earns enough money to continue his journey, but also learns valuable lessons in trade, human nature, and the importance of following one's intuition. This chapter demonstrates Santiago's ability to adapt and thrive in adverse conditions, reflecting the core theme of resilience in The Alchemist. Santiago's time in Tangier, especially his interaction with the crystal merchant, illustrates the importance of seizing opportunities to move closer to one's goals, despite setbacks and the fear of the unknown. It also highlights a central motif in the novel, that the pursuit of a personal legend requires sacrifices, but it also brings growth and unexpected rewards. Chapter 4. The Crystal Merchant. In the chapter titled The Crystal Merchant, Santiago's journey through Tangier becomes a transformative experience, both for himself and the crystal merchant he works for, having decided to stay and work at the crystal shop. After being robbed, Santiago brings a fresh perspective to the stagnant business. Santiago suggests various improvements to the crystal shop. Initially hesitant, the crystal merchant agrees to implement Santiago's idea to sell tea in crystal glasses to attract more customers. This idea comes from Santiago's observation of the bustling environment and his insight into potential market demands. The idea proves to be a huge success, significantly boosting the shop's sales and attracting a larger crowd. This experience not only helps the business flourish, but also strengthens Santiago's confidence in his own judgment and abilities. As the business grows, Santiago and the crystal merchant engage in many deep conversations. The merchant reveals that he once had a dream of making a pilgrimage to Mecca, a personal legend of his own that he never pursued, choosing instead to stick to the familiar and secure routine of his shop. This confession provides Santiago with a direct contrast to his own journey and serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of not pursuing one's personal legend. Through these dialogues, Santiago learns about the concept of the language of the world, an idea that all things are connected, and that by observing and interacting with the environment, one can engage with the world on a deeper, more spiritual level. This language is not spoken in words, but is an understanding that comes from the heart and soul, guiding those who listen towards their destinies. This chapter crucially underscores the theme of personal growth and the realization of dreams through action. Santiago's influence on the crystal merchant serves as a catalyst for change, not just in business practices, but in philosophical views as well. While the crystal merchant decides to remain with his shop, content with dreaming about Mecca, rather than actually going, Santiago resolves more firmly than ever to continue his journey to Egypt to find his treasure. The chapter reflects on the broader implications of our choices and the inner conflicts between security and adventure, comfort and fulfillment. Santiago's time with the crystal merchant teaches him that life is a series of choices that either lead us closer to or further away from our personal legends. Chapter 5. The Desert. In the chapter titled The Desert, Santiago's adventure continues as he takes a significant step towards his personal legend by joining a caravan headed towards Egypt. Having worked at the crystal shop and accumulated enough money, he feels prepared and eager to resume his quest for the treasure at the pyramids. As the caravan travels through the vast and perilous Sahara Desert, Santiago is struck by the desert's harsh beauty and the stark contrasts it presents. The desert serves as a powerful metaphor in The Alchemist for the obstacles and difficulties one must navigate in pursuit of personal dreams. It represents both the physical and spiritual journeys one must undertake, filled with challenges, but also moments of profound insight and transformation. During the journey, Santiago meets an Englishman who is also part of the caravan. This Englishman is an aspiring alchemist who has dedicated his studies to discovering the secrets of alchemy, not only the transformation of lead into gold, but also the universal language and the secrets of the soul of the world. Unlike Santiago, who has a more intuitive and observational approach to life's mysteries, the Englishman relies heavily on books and seeks knowledge through reading, rather than engaging directly with the world. Their contrasting approaches to learning and living provide significant thematic depth to the chapter. The Englishman's vast collection of books and his quest to learn alchemy through traditional study contrast with Santiago's experiential and intuitive nature. Through their discussions, Santiago learns about the Englishman's perspective on alchemy, which deepens his understanding of the metaphysical elements of the world, and his own journey in this chapter also explores the theme of destiny and the many forms it can take. The caravan itself, with its diverse group of travelers, each with their own stories and reasons for their journeys, symbolizes the various paths people take in pursuit of their personal legends. Santiago's interaction with the Englishman also introduces him to different worldviews and further expands his understanding of the spiritual elements of his quest. The desert, with its solitude and inherent dangers, forces Santiago to confront the realities of his quest. It teaches him about the inevitability of obstacles and the need for perseverance. The journey through the desert is not just a trek across physical space, but also a voyage into the depths of his own soul, preparing him for the challenges ahead and the deeper understanding of the alchemy and interconnectedness of life. Part 3. Chapter 6. The Oasis. Upon arriving at the oasis, which is a bustling hub of desert travelers and a symbol of life and fertility amidst the barren desert, Santiago is struck by its beauty and the stark contrast it presents to the arid surroundings. Here, he encounters Fatima, a young woman from the desert tribe living at the oasis. Santiago is immediately captivated by her, and as their relationship develops, he experiences the depth of love for the first time. Fatima becomes a central figure in Santiago's personal legend, embodying the idea of love as a vital part of one's destiny. During his stay, Santiago's connection to the soul of the world deepens, and he experiences a profound spiritual revelation. He has a vision of an imminent attack on the oasis. Initially, he is hesitant to act on this vision, fearing the consequences of being wrong. However, the realization that failing to warn the others could lead to disaster prompts him to go to the tribal chieftains with his concerns. Santiago's vision is taken seriously by the oasis elders, and they decide to prepare for a possible attack, which indeed occurs. The successful defense against the attack, thanks in part to Santiago's warning, earns him respect among the oasis's people and confirms his emerging skills as a seer and someone deeply connected to the universal language. This chapter significantly advances the themes of fate and choice. Santiago's decision to share his vision and the subsequent validation of his supernatural insight mark a pivotal moment in his journey, showcasing his growth from a shepherd to someone who influences major events. The oasis serves as a crucible for Santiago's transformation, where he not only finds love, but also steps into a role of leadership and responsibility, learning that his actions can impact a larger community. The encounter with Fatima and the vision of the attack at the oasis teach Santiago about the responsibilities that come with pursuing one's personal legend. They also highlight the interconnectedness of all lives, a central philosophy in The Alchemist. Santiago's experiences at the oasis thus intertwine his personal desires with his larger quest, deepening his understanding of the sacrifices and duties that accompany his dreams. Chapter 7. The Attack. In the chapter titled The Attack, the narrative of The Alchemist intensifies as Santiago's journey takes a dramatic turn, showcasing his growing involvement and importance within the community of the Al-Fayoum oasis. Following his premonitory vision of an attack on the oasis, Santiago takes a bold step by deciding to share his concerns with the tribal chieftains. Despite his initial hesitation and the fear of being mistaken, he understands the gravity of the situation and the potential consequences of not acting on his intuition. Santiago's decision is a testament to his evolving character, illustrating his transition from passive observer to active participant in his and others' destinies. After hearing Santiago's warning, the chieftains are initially skeptical, as the tradition at the oasis is to remain neutral and avoid conflicts. However, they decide to take precautions due to the serious nature of his vision. They agree to break the rule of the oasis that prohibits carrying arms, and they prepare for a potential attack. Santiago's vision and the subsequent actions taken are a significant divergence from the norm, showing how his journey is influencing and being influenced by the broader world around him. When the attack comes, it unfolds just as Santiago had seen in his vision. The oasis defenders are well prepared thanks to his forewarning, and they successfully repel the attackers, saving many lives and preserving the peace of the oasis. This successful defense proves the validity of Santiago's vision, significantly raising his stature among the oasis dwellers. Santiago's respect within the oasis community grows tremendously following the attack. He is recognized not only for his role in defending the oasis, but also as someone who is deeply connected to the soul of the world and possesses a rare ability to read the omens. This newfound respect marks a pivotal point in Santiago's journey, highlighting his development into a figure of spiritual and practical authority. This chapter also enriches the theme of the interconnectedness of all existence, a central idea in The Alchemist. Santiago's actions based on his vision show how individual destinies are linked with the collective fate of a community. Furthermore, the chapter emphasizes the importance of courage in pursuing one's personal legend, as Santiago musters the bravery to act on his supernatural insights, reinforcing the novel's overarching message that following one's personal legend, despite fear and uncertainty, leads to profound growth and fulfillment. Chapter 8. In the chapter titled The Alchemist, Santiago's journey takes a crucial turn as he meets a mysterious figure who will greatly influence the rest of his path. This chapter deepens the mystical and philosophical elements of the narrative, introducing the titular character, the alchemist, who plays a pivotal role in guiding Santiago towards his ultimate destiny. The alchemist, a wise and powerful figure reputed to possess extraordinary abilities, hears of Santiago's successful prediction of the attack on the oasis and his growing reputation as one capable of reading the world's deeper signs. Intrigued by Santiago's abilities and potential, the alchemist seeks him out. The meeting between Santiago and the alchemist is charged with a sense of destiny and significance, as if their encounter was arranged by the universe itself. During their initial conversation, the alchemist confirms Santiago's special relationship with the soul of the world and his unique potential to become a true alchemist himself. He speaks cryptically but with authority about the principles of alchemy, which go far beyond mere transformation of metals into gold. Instead, he emphasizes the alchemy of the self, transforming one's spirit to achieve harmony with the world and one's personal legend. The alchemist offers to accompany Santiago on the next leg of his journey, promising to lead him through the desert to the pyramids while teaching him the deeper secrets of alchemy. He proposes a challenging path that involves not only physical travel, but also significant spiritual and personal growth. Santiago, driven by his dream and the desire to understand the language of the world more fully, agrees to travel with him. Their preparation to leave the oasis together marks a new phase in Santiago's quest, characterized by a deeper dive into the spiritual and esoteric. The alchemist serves as a mentor, challenging Santiago to confront his fears and doubts, while pushing him towards a greater understanding of his inner power and the universal elements that connect all of life. This chapter highlights themes of mentorship, the pursuit of wisdom, and the transformative power of self-discovery. The alchemist's introduction and his decision to guide Santiago reflect the book's overarching message about the importance of seeking knowledge and understanding beyond the superficial, urging a communion with the world that is profound and life-altering. Part 4. Chapter 9. Through the Desert. In the chapter titled Through the Desert, Santiago and the alchemist embark on a profound and challenging journey across the vast desert landscape, a journey that is as much about inner exploration as it is about traversing the physical world. This chapter intensifies the spiritual and philosophical themes of The Alchemist, focusing on Santiago's evolving understanding of the universe and his place within it. As they travel together, the alchemist teaches Santiago more about the spiritual alchemy that connects one to the soul of the world. He explains that true alchemy is the ability to listen to one's heart and to understand the language spoken by all things. This teaching emphasizes the importance of intuition and insight in comprehending the deeper truths of the universe, and it challenges Santiago to tap into his inner resources. The desert, with its vast emptiness and inherent dangers, serves as a powerful metaphor for the internal journey Santiago is undergoing. It represents the isolation, trials, and purification that are necessary for personal growth. The alchemist explains that each person's journey through their own desert is a critical part of pursuing their personal legend. This resonates deeply with Santiago, who begins to see the landscape not just as a physical obstacle, but as a space filled with signs and omens to be interpreted. Throughout their travels, Santiago and the alchemist encounter various characters, including a tribal chieftain and other desert nomads, which further enrich Santiago's understanding of the world and the different ways people connect with the universe. These interactions are tests presented by the desert to challenge Santiago's resolve and his ability to apply the lessons he is learning. One pivotal moment in this chapter is when Santiago must confront his fears directly. The alchemist teaches him about the importance of facing one's fears as the only way to overcome them, illustrating this through their encounter with hostile tribal warriors. Santiago learns to trust his own abilities and his connection to the soul of the world when he performs a miraculous demonstration of turning himself into the wind, a feat that astonishes both the tribal warriors and himself. This act is a significant turning point, proving his mastery of the lessons taught by the alchemist. Through the Desert is a chapter where the themes of fear, transformation, and the power of one's inner voice are explored in depth. Santiago's journey through the desert becomes a symbol of his spiritual maturation, as he learns to listen more closely to his heart and to believe in the possibility of achieving the impossible, guided by the wisdom of the alchemist and the signs provided by the universe. This chapter reaffirms the novel's message that the journey toward one's personal legend is both arduous and enlightening, requiring one to continually learn from and adapt to the world around them. Chapter 10. The Monastery. In the chapter titled The Monastery, Santiago and the alchemist make a significant stop at a Coptic monastery in the Egyptian desert. This chapter serves as a crucial turning point in Santiago's journey, where he witnesses the tangible results of the mystical science of alchemy and learns about its deepest secrets. Upon their arrival at the monastery, the alchemist decides it is the right time to demonstrate the physical process of alchemy, a symbolic act that represents the culmination of all the spiritual and philosophical lessons Santiago has learned so far. The alchemist takes out a small piece of lead and the philosopher's stone, a legendary alchemical substance said to enable the transformation of base metals into gold. The alchemist performs the conversion process, which Santiago observes closely. This demonstration is not just a physical transformation of elements, but also serves as a profound spiritual lesson for Santiago. The alchemist explains that the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life, another legendary substance that grants immortality, are not just tools for changing metals or extending life. They symbolize the alchemist's mastery over the material and spiritual worlds. The true alchemy lies in one's ability to strip away the superfluous, focus on the essential, and thus achieve purification and perfection of the soul. During this demonstration, the alchemist shares part of the gold with the monks at the monastery, and he creates a small disc of gold for Santiago as well. This act is laden with symbolism and serves multiple purposes, is a gesture of gratitude to the monastery for their hospitality, a lesson in generosity for Santiago, and a practical provision for Santiago's journey ahead, providing him with resources he might need. This chapter highlights several themes central to The Alchemist, such as the unity of the material and spiritual realms, the importance of understanding and mastering one's inner self, and the idea that true wealth is in the knowledge and spiritual enlightenment, rather than mere material possessions. Santiago's realization that he is nearing the completion of his quest is intertwined with these lessons, emphasizing that the journey's true treasure is the wisdom gained and the transformations within oneself. The monastery sets the stage for the final leg of Santiago's journey towards the pyramids and his treasure, armed now, not just with physical gold, but with the invaluable spiritual insights that will guide him to fulfill his personal legend. Chapter 11. The Pyramids. In the chapter titled The Pyramids, Santiago's journey reaches a climactic moment as he finally arrives at the Egyptian pyramids, the place he has dreamt about and traveled towards for so long. This chapter combines elements of realization, disillusionment, and ultimate enlightenment, encapsulating the essence of Santiago's quest. Upon reaching the pyramids, Santiago is overwhelmed with emotion. He kneels and weeps, feeling the weight of his long journey and the profound impact of his experiences. He recalls the old king's advice and decides to begin digging at the base of the pyramid, where he felt it was right, guided by his intuition and the signs he has learned to interpret. As Santiago digs for the treasure, he finds nothing despite his efforts. His initial excitement turns into frustration and despair. Just as he is grappling with disappointment, a group of robbers happens upon him. They are suspicious of his actions and accuse him of hiding something valuable. Despite his explanations, they beat him, demanding to know what treasure he is looking for. During this encounter, Santiago, bruised and disheartened, speaks of his recurring dream about a treasure buried at the base of the pyramids. Laughing at him, one of the robbers dismisses his dream as foolishness, but then, unwittingly, shares his own dream. He tells Santiago about a recurring dream he had, in which a treasure is buried in an abandoned church in Spain, where a sycamore tree grows, the very place where Santiago had his original dream. This revelation hits Santiago with the force of a revelation. He realizes the symmetry in these mirrored dreams and understands that his true treasure might have been right where he began, under the sycamore tree back in Spain. The robbers leave him beaten and empty-handed, but Santiago now possesses a new kind of knowledge and certainty. The Pyramids chapter is pivotal as it teaches Santiago and the reader about the cyclical nature of destiny and the irony often present in the pursuit of one's dreams. Santiago's journey to the pyramids, initially seen as the end goal of his quest, turns out to be a necessary path that leads him back to the start. The chapter reinforces the novel's theme that the pursuit of one's personal legend is invaluable, not merely for the material gains, but for the wisdom and growth experienced along the way. Santiago's realization that he must return to Spain to find the real treasure encapsulates the idea that sometimes what one seeks in the distant horizon is actually to be found in one's own backyard. This realization completes his understanding of the soul of the world and the interconnectedness of all existence. Chapter 12. Back in Spain. In the final chapter titled Back in Spain, Santiago completes his circular journey, returning to the very place where it all began. This chapter encapsulates the essence of The Alchemist, highlighting the themes of destiny, the significance of personal dreams, and the understanding that sometimes the treasure we seek is closer than we think. After the revelatory encounter with the robbers near the Egyptian pyramids, Santiago understands that his true treasure might not be buried in exotic lands, but rather back home in Spain, beneath the sycamore tree, at the abandoned church, where he had his original prophetic dream. With this new insight, he makes the long journey back to Andalusia, filled with anticipation and a new understanding of his personal legend. Upon arriving at the church, the setting is familiar, yet transformed by the significance of what it now represents. Santiago begins to dig under the sycamore tree, where he had once slept as a shepherd. His efforts are soon rewarded as he uncovers a chest brimming with gold and precious jewels, his treasure, both literal and metaphorical. This treasure symbolizes not just material wealth, but the wealth of experience, knowledge, and personal growth he has accumulated on his journey. The discovery confirms the wisdom of the alchemical saying known to Santiago and the alchemist. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Santiago's quest, which took him to foreign lands and introduced him to diverse cultures and deep philosophical insights, ultimately leads him back to his origins, reinforcing the idea that the journey itself is the treasure. The chapter concludes with Santiago reflecting on his journey and planning his return to the Al Fayoum oasis in Egypt, where he intends to reunite with Fatima, the woman he loves. Fatima represents another facet of his treasure, one that is not material but equally valuable. His love for her and his promise to return symbolize Santiago's growth from a young shepherd into a wise man who understands the true riches of life are found in love, understanding, and the fulfillment of one's personal legend. Back in Spain is a fitting conclusion to The Alchemist, bringing Santiago's physical and spiritual journey full circle. It underscores the book's central message that the search for meaning, like the alchemical process of turning lead into gold, is transformative. Santiago's return to Spain is not just a return to a place, but a return to the essence of who he has become, enriched and enlightened by the pursuit of his dreams. Throughout the novel, themes of destiny, the interconnectedness of all things, and the pursuit of personal dreams are explored, making The Alchemist a tale of spiritual search and self-discovery. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Click subscribe and hit the bell to be the first to enjoy our upcoming audiobooks.